Hello and welcome to an Imperial Knight Armiger collection video of sorts. This will be my video where I will go through some of the differences and variants of armigers that you may well see on the battlefields of the 41st millennium or even the Horus Heresy. I have two main variants there with alterations in their weapon loadouts. If you've watched all of the Armiger Knight reviews so far, this is going to be an easy session for you to identify which is which. Pretty much I've put them in an order of ForgeWorld hybrid kits or combination kits where you've got plastic and resin, and the full Games Workshop plastic kits. These two at the front, you've got an Armiger Helverin, which has the Helverin autocannons, not just any old autocannons, they're Helverin autocannons. Probably one of the best knights for long range, sustained firepower. They've got an effective range there of 74 inches. You compare that to the 72-inch range, maximum range of the conversion beamers. These Helverins can pump out a huge number of shots. Each autocannon is 2d3, so you've got the potential there of having up to 12 strength 7 shots. They really are a Dakar unit, able to move at speed of 14 inches and fire off those autocannons and still be out of range of all but the most potent weaponry. You know, even las cannons are 48-inch range, so they're still left wanting an extra 12 inches from these knights. So if you're going for a shooty army and you're going against an army that's a horde army and there's lots of bodies on the board, yeah, a pair of Helverins, even as two separate choices, would be a fantastic choice there. Alternative, this other plastic knight here, the Armiger Warglaive, definitely packs more of a punch at an effective range of 44 inches. It can fire that thermal spear, which is a 30-inch range melter weapon, and it has 3 shots with it. It's just a shame that you can't equip it with 2 thermal spears. That would be very, very decent. But yes, that one is your high toughness vehicle other knight hunter, and yeah, 2 of them firing off those 30-inch weapons you know, is very damaging indeed. You're now talking only 4 inches off the range of a las cannon with these things. So if you're just out of range of a las cannon with the Warglaives, in 2 turns you won't be, and you'll be able to, if you're focusing fire with 2 of them, you could potentially be getting 6 shots on a unit that has a few las cannons in it. So I wouldn't necessarily underestimate their shooting ability because of these high strength thermal spears, and of course because you're going to be getting them in a little bit closer, they are going to be more vulnerable to melee units where their melee weapon, the Reaper Chain Cleaver, it used to be alright, but it's much better now. Because it's got 2 different profiles. You can either have a strength 12, AP -3, damage 3 attack, and you've got 4 attacks. It's pretty decent for the number of attacks for this Warglaive. Or you can go for a sweeping attack, which is just a strength 6, but it's still AP -2, and you get 2 hit rolls for each attack made with the weapon. So you're getting 8 attacks there, which, yeah, it is good. But the Armiger autocannons will do more damage from a safer distance than throwing a couple of these Warglaives into close combat. Like I said, the Helverins can pretty much deal with most things with those strength 7 autocannons from range and whittle down void shields, iron shields, you know, light vehicles, just with the weight of fire and that high strength, high damaging firepower. Whereas the Warglaives are a bit more of a specific tool for a specific problem, like a group of heavily armed infantry or other knights or things with high toughness or vehicles that you want to just be focusing on with those thermal spears. So that's the 2 knights that Games Workshop offer. I mean, technically Games Workshop are offering all of these because ForgeWorld Blood are within Games Workshop, but the prices are alright. You know, for 2 of these Warglaives, it's £45. So you're looking at £22 each, give or take. Where in a world where Paragon war suits are £42 for 3, and they're only equipped with either multi-melters or heavy bolters, or heavy flamers if you want to include them, they seem like quite a good deal. They really do. And you know, you can buy multiple and they look really cool next to all the other Questoris Knights as well. So yeah, 2 for 45, pretty decent. Now, the other end of the spectrum, the more expensive side of Games Workshop, so ForgeWorld, they also offer these Knight Moiraxes. They're more akin to Mechanicum in Horus Heresy, but there are 40k rules for them, and you've got a number of flavours for them, much more variety and options than the plastic kits can currently provide. You know, you've either got the Helverins with the Helverin autocannons, or the Warglaives with the thermal spear and the chain cleaver. You know, mix and match which side those weapons are on. With the Moiraxes, like with the standard Armigers, you've got a choice of a couple of heads for them. You've got all new resin parts for the shoulder pauldrons, for the armour on the legs. They seem more armoured as well, much more protected, those frontal pistons, the shin pistons. You've got new exhausts, a bit cleaner, a bit more efficient looking, I think, and a different back power plant panel. But where the main differences lie are with the weapon loadouts. So you've got 2 flavours. You can go for the shooty dual-equipped Lightning Lock Moirax, or the Moirax with the GG Siegeclaw and the Volkite View Glare. Now, unfortunately, you can't just get the Moirax without any weapons, and either of these 2 Moiraxes will cost you £37. The weapons individually are 13. So yeah, if you added that up to 26, they're not going to start selling you a Moirax for just £11. I can't see that happening. But if you did want different weapons, you're going to have to go down the route of buying them separately, which £13 each, you're then looking at a Moirax costing you £63 in the case of this one. Yeah, we're getting up there with prices now. We're getting up to Leviathan Dreadnoughts, we're almost getting up to Telemons, and nearly at full-size Questoris Knights at 95, just for one small Armiger class. So yeah, you've got a couple of other flavours as well, such as this one with the dual conversion beamers, or this one with a claw and a Graviton Pulsar. So yeah, you can mix and match them. I haven't magnetised my arms because they're all going to be painted the same kind of way anyway, so I can just remove the arms off and put them with others as I see fit. That saves on magnets, saves on time, saves on a number of things, but if you're only going to get 2 and you wanted some other weapons, yeah, they're very easy to magnetise. In there you can just cut the little plug off a little bit and attach a magnet, and then away you go. So yes, that's the you know, other options. And yeah, following the other 2 like original Armigers, you can go for a full shooty Moirax with the dual lightning locks. You can go for the conversion beam cannons again as a shooty knight, or you can go for one of any of those weapons with a siege claw. You can even go for 2 siege claws if you want. That doesn't really give you anything extra going for 2 siege claws other than the rad cleanser. If you're going for the siege claws, they have got like a flamer type weapon built in there, which is nice. The rad cleanser isn't too bad. I mean, yeah, it's no you know, heavy stubber or melter gun, but still, you know, it's a nice little sting in its tail, in that it can wound on a 2+ and automatically hits, and it is a damage 3 at the end of the day. The siege claw is nice, it outputs the same damage as the single strike of the chain cleaver, with the strength of 12, but you're sacrificing its ability to hit because you have to reduce the you have to subtract 1 from the attack's hit roll, and again with 4 attacks, yeah, 50-50 hitting, yeah, you're already reducing your effectiveness of the ones with the siege claw in half. You know, you've got a 50-50, you know, it might not be worth knocking out 2 attacks that are going to hit against something. And without a sweep attack, the sole focus really should be with the Rad Cleanser and the main weapon that they've come with. So that's why my focus for Moiraxes would be solely on the range versions. That's why I've got more range weaponry for them. You can go for the Graviton Pulsar right there, which is a short range weapon at the end of the day. Which is a short range weapon. It's only a 24-inch range weapon. It's got a nice strength, very decent AP -3, good damage of 2, and anything with a save of 3+, you're getting a damage of 3, so it does stack a little bit. The only downside is it's a random number of shots. It's heavy D6. Yes, you could get 5 or 6, but yeah, you could also get 1 or 2. So it's a bit random, and you're opening yourself up for more attacks within that kind of heavy bolter range within 36 inches, or even bolt rifle range of 30 inches. So the Graviton one is probably the one I'd use the least. It looks cool, but it's a big gamble. And taking one with 2 Graviton Pulsars, where you only get 2 shots, it can be heartbreaking. The Lightning Locks, on the other hand, they have a straight up 6 shots at a good range of 36-inch range, so they're going to pump out 12 shots definitely, which is the maximum number of shots that those Helverin autocannons can fire. And on top of those 12 shots, any 6s, you get 2 additional hits. Let's just say you do get 12 hits. For argument's sake, you're then going to get an extra 24 shots, so that's a potential of 36 shots that Lightning Locks can hit with, which will obliterate a lot of things. If you're going against Horde armies, the Lightning Locks are easily the way to go. You know, Eldar and above really in terms of save. Space Marines not so much, but if you're against an army with save of 4+ or worse, then yeah, Lightning Locks, it's hard not to take a couple of them, like I have. Now, keeping on to the shooting theme, I've also got one equipped with the more conversion beam cannon. The reason why I've got 2 there is because I can. And what I mean by that is, before you were only able to take 1. Now you can take 2. It's very decent weapon, because you've got that 72-inch range. You can sit back from across the board, fire those beam cannons. They're heavy D3, so you could potential there of getting 6 shots at strength 10. Okay, the armor penetration is only -2, so you're kind of limited to, so that might reduce its effectiveness against like Space Marines, for example. But it is a blast weapon, and it does do damage of 4 as well. So again, brilliant horde killing weapon. Against units that have a low armor save. Now the final weapon, right over there, the Volkite View Glare, that's an odd one because it has the same range as the Lightning Lock, but it has 1 less shot. It only has 5 shots. It has the same strength. It has a worse AP. It does have 1 extra damage 2, but it's a mortal wound giver, in that you get 6s, you're getting 1 mortal wound. So yes, it's a heavy 5 shot, so your ability to hit, first of all, on the 3+, you might get 4, you might only get 3, and then out of those 4 or 3, you're going to have to get 6s. You could get 1 or 2 6s, but it's nice to get a mortal wound. I wouldn't completely rely on that weapon, and I'd equip them, like I say, with the more kind of shooty loadouts like the Conversion or the Lightning Locks. But yeah, both the Graviton and the Volkite have specific purposes, but I wouldn't completely rely on them. They are good, but they don't just do one thing amazingly well, like the Helverins or like the Lightning Lock Moiraxes. Now, where the close combat equipped Armigers come into their own is by protecting your Questoris Knights, or your Titans even. I now have 14 Armiger class Knights, and they would be milling around the larger Titans, able to engage and tie up any forces that would be foolish enough to try and engage them in close combat. Especially as any vehicles or Titanic units, those siege claws are going to be adding 2 to the damage characteristics, and they do have a damage of D6, by the way. So there you go. That's my, I say, sort of review of all of the Armigers. These are the main ones that you'll see on the battlefield. I clearly have a number that I haven't put on display here. I will be producing an Imperial Knight Armiger class showcase soon. My initial plan was to have it at the end of all of these Armiger videos, but that has not materialized, so it will be a little bit later on in Knight Month, but I will show you all of the Armiger class knights that I have in the collection, and I hope you enjoy that one. But as for knights, this is the end of the Armigers for now. As you could tell from the Questoris unboxings over the past week, I'll now be moving into Questoris knights. You'll see reviews of the Styrics and the Magira, and a review of the Crusader. And that's really not just a review of the Crusader, it's more of a review of that kit itself. And then we will be swiftly moving into Cerastus Knights, and eventually into the big Acastus Knights. So I hope you join me for all of those videos, and I hope you've enjoyed this one. If you do like Armiger class knights, why not leave this video a like, and don't forget to subscribe. Thank you ever so much for joining me today. Thank you for watching. The Emperor protects.